Today we're going to talk about how to use a semicolon. A lot of people are really afraid of semicolons because they're not sure how to use them, but they're really a lot simpler than you think. So basically, the first thing you need to know is when should you use a semicolon. The primary usage of semicolons is bringing together two independent clauses that are closely linked to one another. You're not going to bring together just like two random statements. You wouldn't say like, John has a cat. He bought it at Walmart. You wouldn't join those two sentences together because while they are relating to one another, they aren't reliant on one another for existence. Something else to keep in mind is that semicolons are used in order to avoid run-ons. This is really important. There are times when students want to put a comma in between two independent clauses, but a comma alone is not strong enough to stop the thought. So commas alone are not strong enough in order to bring two independent clauses together. They can bring an independent and a dependent clause together, but not two independent clauses together on their own. So going on, let's take a look at a simple sentence. So our simple sentence is going to be, Grandma stays up too late. Okay, well let's add to this. Let's develop this a little bit more. Why does she stay up too late? So Grandma stays up too late. She's afraid she's going to miss something. Okay, these are two clauses very closely related to one another because the second clause is explaining why she stays up too late. So we can bring these together into a single sentence. So we cannot bring them together with a comma because, again, commas can't bring two independent clauses together. This is what we call a comma splice. Basically, you need to know, don't bring two independent clauses together with a comma. But we can use a coordinating conjunction. These are those conjunctions and, or, so, yet, nor, for. So here, Grandma is afraid she'll miss something, so she stays up too late. That definitely works. But what we can do instead is a subordinating. Try a subordinating conjunction. Grandma stays up too late because she's afraid she's going to miss something. Okay, now that word because is linking the two ideas together, and that is stronger than a comma. Words are definitely stronger than commas alone. All right, so where's the semicolon fit in with all of this? It's simple, okay? Semicolons can bring these two independent clauses together, okay? So, for instance, the dinosaurs here, when dinosaurs agree on something, they'll often high-five one another, semicolon. Dinosaurs are all about high fives. This is bringing them together, so it's this one fluid thought. The reason you want to do this is because a period really means this definite end. You don't have continuation after it, where the semicolon, it's more fluid. It's a little bit more like a comma. It's a pause, but it's not this drastic pause. So in this case, we're wanting to explain that the dinosaurs are all about high fives, therefore they high five whenever they agree on something. It's all one thought, so they want to be brought together in a single sentence. Okay, so let's look at this semicolon. Grandma stays up too late. She's afraid she's going to miss something. Again, these are really closely linked together, and so the semicolon is really kind of marrying these two ideas together into a single fluid thought. All right, so sometimes some semicolons are accompanied by conjunctive adverbs. These are your words like however, moreover, therefore, nevertheless. We actually refer to these as transition words and transition phrases. So when you have two independent clauses brought together and you have this transition word with it, you're going to use a semicolon. So for instance, Grandma is afraid she's going to miss something. As a result, she stays up too late. And again, it's giving that extra boost of fluency. Now, something that's important to know with this is the pattern. When you have a semicolon and a conjunctive adverb, there is a specific pattern. It's semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma. You're always going to have a comma after the conjunctive adverb. All right, one last use of semicolons, and that's when you have monster lists. These are lists that are, it's not like I went to the store and got milk, cookies, and eggs. Instead, you've got all sorts of adjectives, adverbs, maybe you have to have commas within each item in the list. It's really just confusing to read because there's all these commas in it. So for instance, the committee included Peter Wursthorn, professor of mathematics from Marlborough, Connecticut, Virginia Vela, professor of English from Hartford, Connecticut, Paul Creek, director of Rad Tech from Essex, Connecticut, and Joan Leach, professor of nursing from Farmington, Connecticut. Notice you've got all these commas, you don't even know where the separation is from the items in the list. So instead of using commas between the items, we'll use semicolons. Okay, so here you'll notice we've got the semicolon after each item in the list, and it's giving it fluency. This particular technique with semicolons you will not need to know for the final exam, but it's just good information to have. All right, so now you know everything you need to know about semicolons. Don't be afraid of them, but also don't think they're a replacement for periods and commas. One of the biggest mistakes I've had students make with these is that they overuse them. They just have them everywhere, and then their paper starts to look like a connect the dots. So again, use them sparingly, but don't be afraid to use them.